Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another day of league racing for the Road to Glory League. And it's a wet one this evening as we're stateside for the Miami Grand Prix. We've got a full grid for you this evening, so we'll have the bottom 5 knocked out, and then the next 5, and then the top 10 for the third part of qualifying. As I say, we're at the Miami circuit. Of course, it's been here since 2022, which would have been on this game, of course, until we get the new one in a couple of weeks. So we've had 2 runnings of this race in real life. What can we say about the track? We've got 19 corners, 3 DRS zones. It's 5.412 kilometres in length. I think it's a 29 lap race here. I didn't check before the start of the stream, so Lee may correct me on that one. 29 as we look at the drivers' standings. And bear with me a second. As we look at the drivers' standings, Chuckle is leading as he won last time, so he's used to leading the Thursday Championship. He's got 85 points, so he's got a 21-point lead over Ginge in the Alfa Romeo, and in third place is the other Alfa Romeo of Chuck, subsequently the sibling of the championship leader, and he's on 57 points, 48 points for the Red Bull of Matthew, and Vil has 44 points in 5th place. The Alfa Romeos are leading the championship as it stands with 121 points, and Ferrari are in second with 103. The standings for this week, or coming up to this race, will be on the official _LGE Instagram account by the end of this race. So if you want to check out more in depth on that, then please check it out on there, and it will be on the Moments of the Week video when the 2 of them for this week, for last week and this week, will come out at the same time. So, as I said right at the very start, made it obviously, we've got a wet qualifying session. It was wet last night when we in the race at Silverstone, and it did take them a while to come out, so we kind of thought that it could go the same way as it did last night as well.
I mean, there's always a possibility of, with this, the way that it was, them coming out a bit longer, just making sure they're getting their setups and that done. But it's just going to be one of them, we'll have to wait and see, unless someone in the chat lets me know. It shall remain a mystery.
Well, we did have a little tell last night, but I think drivers thought it was going to stop raining, because we had a few occasions where drivers went out on dry tyres, whether it was the soft or the mediums, and it was never going to pay off anyway. I was going to say it was too early, but it was never too early, because it never stopped raining.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
On that side, yeah, the race wasn't so bad. We had quite a bit of attrition in terms of drivers crashing out in the race, but hopefully, as we've got light rain conditions again tonight, a lot of drivers racing tonight that did last night, just a few names, and we've got another name, I think, Lee, that we haven't commentated on this season so far, that we did used to see last Sunday fighting for that championship. Is nice job, mate.
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself, we've not really seen him for a while, but it's good to see him back again.
I've
seen sometimes on the board start to come in now. Got Taylor Danny putting in a 138.3, coming in first place for the time being. A couple of drivers in the 1 minute 40s and pretending the 1 minute 50s. Obviously didn't really go their way on their qualifying lap. I'll have to set another one if they've got any hopes of wanting to get through to the next qualifying session.
Sorry, Lee. The missus came in.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Just about to see Prof cross the line. Goes into first place. And who else have we got on
nice
laps
job, mate.
at the moment? Nice job, mate. Where's he? Coming down to the last braking zone of the lap. Just got to refresh my memory on the track. It's not the penultimate corner. This is now the penultimate corner, which is flat, as well as the right-hander of turn 19 goes into fourth place. And who have we got up next? Chuck. He gets very close to the wall on the exit of turn 17, turn 18, and now 19 crosses the line. Something I don't really talk about there. I really like Chuck's helmet, actually.
Chuck's helmet, let's see.
It's a bit out there.
Yeah.
He's got what? He's got a bit of like teal blue colour or like a light blue, and then some very green and then yellow and purple. Wow. That's
Every colour.
I don't know what drugs he was smoking, but they must have been good. As AJ Baker goes
Rumble.
up to the top.
That's it, turn 3.
Ooh. So with the time he's set at the moment, he could get through to Q2, which obviously would mean he would start in 15th place. That's why it drops him down to 15th place. Who else have we got on laps? We've got 3 drivers on out laps, and just concentrating on the drivers who have not yet set a lap. As we're waiting for Lee Craigley, I think it is up next. Oh no, I think Racing Matt has just crossed the line actually and improved.
Well, on board with Lee Craig now as he's coming around turn 19 final corner. Sets his lap 140.7.
Quite a bit off the pace. You do usually see a bigger gap in wet weather in terms of pace, and
so right now that is going to be the benchmark for everyone to beat at this moment in time, even though it says Royal Rumble down in 15th. As you see, Lee Craig's just dropped down there. I kind of missed who that was there.
it was Ginge.
Was it Ginge? Right.
We've only got 3 drivers not yet set a lap. Aki being one of them, who we're on board with right now, as we wait to see what he can come up with. But we'll go with one of the other 2 drivers who have not yet set a lap, which one of them being Chuckle, and I think he's got Matty Jones right behind him as well. I say right behind him, but he's the next car in the queue, and Chuckle getting right out of shape there at the chicane under the freeway. Turns between turns 15 and 16. Doesn't seem to have phased him as Taylor Danny gets a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. Not sure when that could have been. Taylor Danny probably did that out of the pit lane potentially. I think that's one of the only places you can actually do that in qualifying. Is we now wait to watch Chuckle, who does have a very similar helmet colours to his brother, and he beats his brother actually with a 138.095, and just behind him is Bugatti with a 138.096.
Matty Jones put his lap in, goes P12. Oh,
So quite close to midfield, even in these conditions, all in the 138s, like properly in the midfield.
Yeah, it's, I would say this is quite a close between quite a few of them out there.
So we'll wait to see what Aki can do. A 139.0, so also almost getting into the 138s. He's the highest of the 39s at the moment. Not sure who we have up next, Lee. I think it might be... I thought it was Taylor Lanny, but of course he got a 5-place grid penalty, so he's just about to start his lap, so he must have done it on the pit lane exit where he got that illegal blocking penalty, as he now starts his next attempt. And already, Lee, as I look up at the clock, we've only got just over 5 minutes to go. That, for me, that's gone quite quickly, actually.
I would say so myself, to be honest.
So, and this, I suppose this is the beauty of wet conditions, is Chuckle gets up onto the top spot in Q1 for the time being. I think Matty Jones just started. Like, I think you noticed from me on Monday, I hadn't done a lot of practice. I'd done no practice in the wet. So I decided to put about 12 or 13 kilos worth of fuel in the car on Monday at Spain when it was full wet conditions. I did about four or five laps just going round and round the battery. I just did one charge lap because the battery doesn't drain as much in the wet. And then I came back in, put a fresh set on and just did like a normal, what you do in dry conditions, just a one lap, which got me, I think it was third, wasn't it? Even though I can't remember where I got, yeah. So I think a lot of drivers are doing that kind of strategy at the minute, where they're just staying out and putting the laps in.
Well, that's the thing also, is that the intermediate, also the wet tyre, doesn't wear down.
Yeah, sorry, that, yeah.
Compared to the drier compounds, it's a bit more forgiving in that sense.
It is, yeah. It is. Always. Matty Jones getting slightly out of shape. We've watched him for the entirety of this lap. He's got a Aston Martin up ahead of him. That's a nice job. Mate retires from the session. I think I would if I'd had the time that he set on the board. As Matty Jones comes around turn 18 and 19 and crosses the line and moves up a place. He gained almost half a second, so just still staying in that 138 bracket, which so many of the drivers are. So, more so now, drivers getting into the 137s. But I'd say maybe that was a good idea for, not a silly idea for Nice Job Mate to do, but there is chance still for this track to improve a little bit, and a little bit can gain a lot of time in the wet.
Oh yeah, it just takes that little improvement and then everybody just sets the laps and then there you go. That's you qualifying for thinking you were safe.
Yeah, as I said, it's unlikely from second if you were sort of down in 10th or 11th. I think retiring now would, be a not a very wise call to make.
Yeah, I've seen he's done 6 laps on these tyres that he's on.
He's gone wide there at the Marina section, which is turn 7, and went off the track.
Knocks the wall there also.
Yeah, hopefully for next game as well, they'll get rid of that glitch where you can run slightly off the track at turn 7.
Yeah.
Because it's made the corner a lot easier, I found. Just knowing that you can take that little bit more risk.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's more mental.
And I do wonder as well, now this would be interesting, I wonder if we're obviously going to get sprint format, but are we going to get the format or the new format or both. Now, I'd love both.
What, like double qualifying?
Yeah, so you could have double. I suppose. I don't know if it would work in league racing though, would it? It's a bit much.
Yeah.
I think you could do a league like that if you actually just did the league over 2 days and you had like a sprint day.
Or if you just done it like short qualifying for the main race and one shot for the sprint, maybe.
Yeah, that'd probably be the way to do it. Yeah, that'd probably be the way to do it.
No, the Pretender, I'm wondering...
He's 3 tenths up, 3.5 tenths up. That would only maybe just put him in 15th, so he needs to improve.
He's got no battery.
How much time's left on the clock?
Like 40 seconds.
30 seconds, yeah. So I think he's still 3. Just because we went off him for a second. So we've got Chuckle who's come in. We've got Dylan, who's in 20th at the moment and invalidated his lap time, so he's not going to improve. The Pretender's now only 2 tenths up. I don't think that's going to mean he's safe. Kieran's out as well. We've got Looney Man on a lap. We'll see what the Pretender can do. He does move up a place to 17th, but he's out in Q1. Looney Man is also out. He's not going quickly. So I think that's it. So Stephen Jones is safe. And he's in validation. Yeah. And he's in validation anyway. But so many people there. I mean, between third and... Let's say third. Yeah, I mean, we've got 3 drivers in the 137.8s, 2 in the 37.9s, and 2 in the 38 zeros. And between... We'll see from the leader. I mean, Lee, the top 12 in the wet were all within a second of each other, which I think is mighty impressive, actually, for wet conditions.
Definitely. I mean, seeing this usually does have quite a big gap between everyone, but not as much here today. So, a wee quick rundown there of what happened in that first of 3 qualifying sessions. Joe getting the fastest lap there with 137.4. Nice job, mate. In second place. Third place was Lee Craig. AJ Baker's in fourth, and Taylor Danny in fifth. We also ended up getting a 5-place grid penalty, so we'll need to keep an eye on that for later on, for either in this next session or the session after. And the ones who are being eliminated is Kieran, Pretender, Looneyman, Royal Rumble, and Dylan. So, moving on to the second of 3 qualifying sessions.
The only good thing about the wet conditions, Lee, is that fake marina can turn into a real one.
Yeah. But the only good thing I would say, that and spices up the rest of it all.
Yes. Yes. It's funny, isn't it? It's one of those tracks that, even though it's in a car park, it's actually, I think it's like, maybe not a pretty track is the right word, but you know, there's some spectacle to it, definitely, like with the stadium, and then you see there's like tennis courts around and things like that. It's probably quite a cool place to go, to be fair. hot as well.
Would be annoying if you're just trying to have a game of tennis and then bang. You just had it too far, Jesus Christ, man. Now I've got to go over the racetrack.
Can you imagine that, like a Formula 1 car going past, just as you were doing your serve for match point?
Here's Verstappen getting hot in the head with a tennis bat.
I think it would be alright with a helmet on. I think he'd have been alright full stop. I mean, cricket ball, maybe. So, as you see drivers come out much quicker in the second part of qualifying, of course, don't have to worry about their setups now, just focus on the driving. I don't know about you, Lee, but in wet conditions, this is one of the only things in parc fermé you can change. I do like to add especially if I don't have a lot. I like to add a lot of front wing in the wet.
Of course. See, you want to add a little bit, but you don't want to add too much to end up offsetting the balance of the car and having it turning in too quick, making the front end a bit more.
Bit too pointy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit too pointy.
Pointy.
Oh, Phil knocked over the bollard there on his outlap, so as the marshals went and put that back between the sessions, he's just undone all their hard work.
2 seconds.
No worries. So, as we wait to see the first driver start a lap, which will be Matthew, we've got 14 drivers out on the circuits. One's elected to stay in for the time being. That's Taylor Danny. Oh my days. Oh my days. Sorry, I have my microphone on mute there. I'm not sure when I did mute it. I think I might have knocked it. It seems to be a bit sensitive on this controller. As we see Matthew spun, racing masses collided with him. I think we're supposed to have ghosting on. It's always been the case, so I'm not sure if it's changed for Thursday. I don't think it has. And AJ Baker has been collected in that incident as well, and it's also given a 5-place grid penalty as well to Matthew. Are you there, Lee? Chaos is happening. He needs to get.
I'm trying to look back on it here. So Matthew spun. And then, I
didn't catch AJ, but if you look on the track map on the stream, it's always a good indication to see. I would love replays in spectator mode. That'd be amazing. Love that. So I had some drivers set lap times. 2 of them have not been representative, well, compared to last session, because it seems like similar conditions. At 137.4, Matthew retires. I'm really unsure why Matthew is just out of frustration. But he's got himself a 5-place grid penalty, Lee. He's going to be starting last.
I'm speechless right now, mate. I'm still trying to figure out what went on there.
Aki looks like he's lost his front wing as well. Another driver set a lap. Again, a few drivers setting low 138s. We've had 3 drivers out in Q2, so only 2 on track to concentrate on now. We'll have a couple of drivers at the back who potentially are listening or watching the stream will now know that they're moving up at least a place. And we've also got Taylor Danny, who's not set a lap time yet, who's the other driver with a 5-place grid penalty. I don't think we've ever seen 2 in RTG.
Nope, I think this is a first, so... Yeah.
We've seen a couple of 5-place grid penalties. Did we get one? No, we didn't get one last night, did we? We had a couple of, like a 5-second penalty. I think that's what I'm getting confused with.
Yeah.
I think we might have had one this season, not too sure. But as we see Taylor Danny now make his way onto the circuit, he really wants to get into Q3. Of course, the best starting position he's going to be able to do is 5th, and that's if he qualifies on pole. So Aki's the only one that's only other one who hasn't set a lap just yet. So just interested to see a few cars have had damage, along with those included that have unable to finish this session. As Aki makes his way back out onto the circuit. So we're not going to see a last gasp pole from Matthew today, Lee. I do usually look forward to that in qualifying to see if he's going to do that right at the very end.
It's become sort of a
tradition.
Occurrence now.
Yeah, it's almost a tradition. I don't mean that in any offence to anyone else, but it's more the fact that he gets it at the last second is the traditional bit, rather than him getting the pole. As we see Taylor Danny start his first attempt. Still got time for another after this, but of course, because we're in a full qualifying session, and we don't know either if it's going to be mixed conditions in the race. If anyone's in the comments who has dropped out in Q1 that's watching now, if you could let us know what the weather is going to look like, or potentially look like, in the race, it would be good to know, because that would change up how these tyres work out. Because if they do have a mixed conditioned or wet race, these intermediates have got to last them into the race as well, so they've got to be cautious with actually how much they use them. We couldn't say this in Q1. It's just occurred to me now. If we don't, then it's more just preserving them throughout the 3 sessions, but they didn't come out the garage straight away. We said that before, Lee. So if it is like last night or mixed conditions, then they can't really afford actually to keep going round on these tyres.
I think it's. I think that's what it could possibly be. Is going to be a dry race. The reason being is because we'll have seen some of them just going round and round on the same set.
Because you don't get any more sets, do you? I don't think, for the race on the inter and wet. I think you might get 1 each or something.
Yeah, I think it's 1 each. So all in all, you got 4 sets of intermediate tyres,
which is nowhere near as many dry tyres as you get. And of course, the reason being is it's obviously probably to do with help with carbon emissions. Of course, not carrying so much weight everywhere and space. But of course, more often than not, we have dry races than wet.
Yeah. It's
it does add a curveball.
I mean, it is fair. I mean, you get 1 of each compound for the rest. So
yeah,
I would say that's fair.
So Taylor Danny's now up in 4th place, and Aki's just about to finish his first attempt. You hear the car bottoming out as he comes into the braking zone of turn 17 through turn 18 and 19. Crosses the line for a 138.471. So I think we've got Matty just finishing another attempt. See more drivers now getting to the 137s. It does happen. The drivers gain a bit more confidence, have a bit more time on the circuit. As Matty Jones now in 6th and gained 3.5 tenths on his previous lap. I think we've got Aki on a second attempt here. He's just down on his first time. And I find this second half of the second sector, where we get into this tight section, I don't know if you're watching with Aki, especially in the wet, it's so tricky to know how much throttle you can put down. It feels so slidey in that section, in the dry and wet, for me personally.
Oh yeah, it's basically like a hair trigger pedal that you've got. It's just that slight bit too much, and you could be swinging it into the wall.
And we were saying that I was saying that last night more so, about the fact, and we see Nice Job Mate retire with a 137.3 with 3 minutes to go. I'm surprised he's retired, to be honest. As Aki now moves up to 8th with a 137.9, so loads of drivers in the high 137s. So as we now lose Lee, we seem to have this regularly. We didn't have it for a couple of weeks. Had it last night right at the end of the stream, so I'm sure he will be back momentarily. And we've got 3.5 minutes left on the clock. We've just had Bugatti cross the line. As Prof is almost half a second up on his lap time. He's in 11th at the moment as he makes his way through the final 2 corners on the lap and moves up into 2nd, so he's more than likely going to be safe. Slightly quicker than Chuck. There's 3 drivers in the 137.3s, 1 in the 37.2. Very, very close indeed between pretty much all 12 drivers as more now start their final attempt. So who is going to be up first? Surprised Aki's decided to come in there. I think he had enough fuel to go again, the battery. But he decided to come in. He's still not safe. He's still got Stephen Jones, who's the only driver not yet finished this lap, but he's the only driver that can be knocked out and have a chance to save himself. So as we watch him come through and under the stadium section, he's invalidated his lap time. It's 38 seconds on the clock. He may be able to have another go here. I think that's likely. He could be trying to have another go. As Ginge makes his way around the last 2 corners. Got Lee back with us, so he's got back nice and quickly. He's back in the commentary box now, and Ginge now moves up to 6. Stephen Jones about to cross the line with 3 seconds to go. He was up on his lap time, but he's able to go again. So he still has a chance to save himself. Aki probably thinks he could, maybe would have thought he was going to be safe. He almost was, but not just yet. got Lee Craig on a lap, and to be honest, don't mean to be rude to Lee Craig, but he's safe regardless of what happens now. So the only driver we can check up on is Stephen Jones, who Lee's just made a big mistake at turn 7.
I'm just getting in right now.
Ah, sorry, I thought you were already in. As wait to see him finish his sector 2. It's still got a few corners to go until he actually does that. As he makes his way around turn 12. And under the freeway, and he's down on his time. He might as well keep going as Lee Craig moves up into first place. So just making sure, and we'll see if Stephen Jones can improve. He needs to improve by just over 2 tenths to get himself into Q3, and he doesn't. He stays 12. It means Aki will be safe. But well, at 11th place, the top 11, all within 7 tenths, something like that. Let's check for sure.
Yep.
7.5 tenths.
Yep.
Very, very close. Top 7, Lee, is 2 tenths. 2.5 tenths.
Yep, quarter of a second. That is just... That's mad.
Top 5 between 1 point...
1.5 tenths.
Yeah, 1.5 tenths, that's it.
So close times from all of the guys in this second of the 3 qualifying sessions. Have a wee quick rundown there of the order. Lee Craig putting it on in first place, sorry. Chuck in second, Prof in third, fourth was Chuckle. Nice job, mate. Good enough to get fifth fastest there. Taylor Danny in sixth, seventh was Ginger Bugatti in eighth, ninth was Matty Jones and Aki managing to narrowly make it through to Q3. And Vil and Stephen Jones both not being quick enough, unfortunately, to get into the third qualifying session. AJ Baker and Racing Matt both crashing out, and Matthew retiring also with a 5th place grid penalty.
So, oh, yeah, sorry, Lee, I wasn't. Disclosure, I wasn't listening. Taylor Danny, does that mean he's out? Is that what you said?
No,
He's still in, so he's got a
Taylor
chance.
Danny's still in.
So
it's Matthew who's got the 5th place grid penalty. Who's out.
Yeah. So he'll be starting last.
Yep.
Not what that man wanted. As we still see, as we can still see, the heavens are open. So a full wet qualifying session, unless something changes in this third pass of qualifying.
I think the man upstairs needs to hire a plumber.
I'm gonna have to have a plumber come tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. I had a problem with my electrics earlier. I panicked a little bit, thinking I wasn't going to be able to do this tonight. My second job doesn't really feel like a job though. As we see 4 of the drivers so far coming out of the garage, another one making his way out. That's nice job, mate, who's retired early in both sessions previous. I'm going to hazard a guess that's not going to happen in the third part of qualifying.
I wouldn't imagine so anyway.
Not of his own accord.
No, no, of course.
Clear of jinxes. So Ginge now, hopefully, Ginge now out of the garage as well. So only his teammate is left remaining in the garage. We've got a Haas up firstly, then Taylor Danny, I believe.
Yep. Then there's Bugatti Sloven. And then Lee Craig, I do believe. Oh. Matty Jones getting on the power a bit too much out of 17 there.
Wolves. I think Kai's internet's lagging a little bit as well.
Who's?
Matty Jones. But just looks like the car's going, you know what I mean? Just very like sharp turns to one side to the other. So he sets the benchmark first sector, 34.8. Now, the long run with a few sweeping corners at the start of it, down towards turn 11. And then we have from here to turn 16. You've got to be really cautious with your right foot. And these curbs here on the chicane of turns 14 and 15 can really catch you out. And then you want a good exit out of 16 because you've got the, I think the longest, but it is the longest straight on the circuit. So you want to be carrying that top speed all the way down to this braking zone, the final braking zone of the lap. It's not seemed like a too bad a lap. We've had a low 137 before. It looks like he's going to be almost 138 as we watch Taylor Danny now. Just about to cross the line. Goes on to provisional pole with a 137.7. Is it Lee Craig up next, Lee? It is.
Goes even quicker. He's invalidated, so it's on to nice job, mate. He's just coming out with turn 17 now. Full throttle to the line now. We'll see what time he's going to be able to put on the board. 136.8.
Yeah, so we've not seen a 36 yet. That's the first time today. Who's up next, Lee?
We've got Chuck out just coming out with turn 17 now, and then we'll have the two Mercedes just after that. We'll see what Chuckle's going to be able to do. He puts it in second, not good enough for a 36 just yet. We'll see Aki come across the line 138.1. Prof puts it at 137.2 in, which is good enough for fourth. Ginge goes fourth with a 137.270.
So Bugatti's up next. Chuck's elected to stay in, so is he going to go out in a couple of minutes and do a couple laps on the same tyre?
That's the question.
As Bugatti makes his way through the final part of Sector 2, we get to the timing beacon, so 110.7 as we get to the end of Sector 2, as we now make our way towards turn 17. A long time to think about where you're going to hit the brakes. As he gets into the corner rather nice. It's been quite a tidy lap. The part of the lap we've watched as he makes his way around turn 19. 137.7 for the Aston Martin driver. I'm not sure if we've got anyone else who's going quicker again. Maybe Prof, actually. No, I don't think so. Chuckle, however, Now,
Oh.
snatches that provisional pole away from Nice Job Mate with a 36.7.
Nicely done from the Ferrari man. I think this is going to be the calm now. I think there's Aki. Aki's going again. Got his battery charged up enough. I think Bugatti's trying to charge his up too.
Oh, Aki's out and spun
Turn 3.
at turn 3. And do I get the feeling, Lee, could you check the settings? Do we not have ghosting on anymore?
Yeah, it is on.
It is on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was very interesting, that accident we saw earlier then, if ghosting's on. Or does it take a second for it to come on?
I have no idea. It could just be a little glitched. And not knowing when to activate properly or something. Like we said last night, this game's pish. So
In English, Lee says that's rubbish, for anyone who didn't know. 36.6 for Nice Job Mate, so responds to Chuckle's attempt and goes a tenth faster than Chuckle and 2/10 faster than himself. So Bugatti going again. Oh, people having trouble at turn 3.
I just noticed that there myself.
He got so close to the wall. I bet if he watches that back, he wouldn't realise how close to the wall he got.
Yeah, I would imagine that myself.
So we'll just come off him for a second. Oh no, it doesn't work like that. I thought it was a little. I was just trying to see his sector time in the top right corner. So we'll have to see what he does in the second sector. The last reference I took was a 1:10 for the middle sector. We'll see what Bugatti can do. It makes his way rather nicely through the middle part, and he does a 1:09. He's 8/10 up. So he's in the 1:36s at the moment. So the track is getting better, Lee.
Yep, he could be setting a good time. All he's got to do is just get this final corner right. As this is the last one that counts. Come on, you could just keep it straight. Nicely done. Foot to the floor on the final stretch to the line. 36.9. Good enough for third place. Nicely done on 4 lap. Well done, or 2. Like we were saying earlier, are a bit more forgiving.
So impressive lap there for Bugatti. He doesn't have the fuel to go again though, however. So that will be his final attempt. Gets himself into the 36s. Only 3 drivers today have been able to do that. And that's been in this session, where the top 3 so far, as Matty Jones goes faster with a 1:37.4. What's he looking like for fuel? He's got enough to do one more attempt. If he wants that to be a cool down lap, he's got the time on the board.
I'm staying on board with Chuck right now as he's coming around turn 3 now. He's got only one, still a representative time on the board.
So we'll see what he can do. I think we've got a Merc of Prof coming around the final corner. I think this is to end a lap. And he goes into 4th with a 37.2. And if he wants to do another lap. He's going to have to go straight away. He does have the battery to do so, though, but he's trying to get the power down as much as possible. This is the point in qualifying where all the drivers is just going to take maximum risks now, because it is really all or nothing in these final moments of qualifying. You've seen that from Prof, and now he's messed it up to a degree, I think, where he won't be able to get that back. As you said, Lee, going back to Chuck, this will be his one and only lap now, or his final lap, should I say. Not only, he has done a lap, but not a representative lap.
Yeah, of course. I don't think you'll be able to get across the line for another lap.
Yeah, maybe actually, maybe. Depends how good this one is, though.
It won't be able to be a representative lap either, with him not having as much battery for it. But he puts in a 37.4. Just made the line and no more, so he's got enough time. He had enough time to go and set another lap now.
I mean, you might as well. You might not. The battery might run out towards the end, but I mean, give it a go. If you end the first or second sector down on your time, I'd back out of it. Then there's not much point after that. But no harm in trying.
I think the best idea was if he's coming into turn 11, is to turn off the battery then, as he's coming into the braking zone of turn 11, and then turn it back on as he's just about to come out of turn 16.
As Taylor Danny moves up to 6th, he was 4/10 up on his time. Prof stays 4th fastest. We've got a Ferrari of Chuckle who goes on to provisional pole with a 36.5. Is anyone else going to be able to beat him now? We're just waiting to see a couple of other drivers finish their laps, as Lee Craig is now making his way around turn 15 and then turns himself around on the exit of turn 15. So that means he's done for the day. But Chuck.
Ginge.
Oh, sorry, Ginge, yeah. The two Alfa Romeos.
Yep, he's coming into turn 17 now. Let's see what time Ginger's going to be able to put on the board. He was a 10th up in sector 1. So a quarter second up, so he goes P4. Chuck comes around the final corner. He's going to put in third.
Very good time. As I said, might as well go for it.
And he did, definitely. That was somewhat. 136.7 there from Chuck, putting it in a P3. Second row in the grid. So we've got Chuckle, who goes on pole, 36.5, and then nice job mate in P2. Chuck P3, but got his Sloven in P4. Ginger in P5, P6 is Prof. 7th is Taylor Danny. Remember also that he's got a 5-place grid penalty for the rest. Matty Jones in P8, P9 is Lee Craig, and Aki in 10th. So where's that going to start? Taylor Danny, what, 12th?
Yeah,
13th?
12th, 13th, 13th. What position was he in? 7th?
7th.
12th.
Yeah, cool. Making sure I could math.
13th. I think. I'm now doubting myself. I think he's 13.
Oh, God knows, we'll find out in a minute.
It's been 10 years since I've been at school. Longer than that. Christ.
What, why? That's a long time.
Oh! We've got a gorgeous sunny summer's evening here in the UK. I don't know about they, but it is here. But over stateside, in the Sunshine State, we've got rain.
It's absolutely lashing it down, lads.
This looks more like wet weather tyres.
I think that's what.
And someone's readied up. Ooh.
Oh, it was green. Am I seeing green? Yep.
We are seeing green. Is this looking a bit wetter than it was before, though?
To be honest, there's one thing that does annoy me about these F1 games, is that you can't, like, say if it's like the weather's going to be off in like a lap or two, like you can't just go into like start on the dries instead. You know
Or
what I'm saying?
pit on the formation lap.
Exactly, bro. Like, I hate this so much.
I would quite like it if they introduced, as well as the red flags, like, I'd quite like it if they introduced when it was really wet you had to start under a safety car. That would mix it up. I'd like that. Not every time, just when it's really wet.
Like a starting, like a rolling start, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah. That'd be a lot better, I would say, as well.
But of course, they do it in IndyCar, don't they? They don't do standing starts. They just do rolling starts.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting because they actually stay side by side, don't they? And they have to, like, keep up a certain pace. It looks like there's quite skill in it, actually. Ooh, is Shuckle lighting up the rear. You don't get damage on the formation lap. Would you like damage on the formation lap, Lee? Punishes you?
Nah, I think that'd be a bit much, in all honesty.
Not even if you had like a full realistic, you know. No.
I think it's better just having the way it is, no damage on the formation lap. Let Abdi keep doing their donuts.
Hashtag we like donuts.
Nom nom.
Nom nom. As we're seeing some now with Chuckle, and these are probably the races. These conditions are the ones where you really want to be doing the donuts and getting the tyre temperature up.
Oh yeah, because they'll be quite cold quite easily. See them already pointing to the right hand side, trying to cover off that inside line of
Yes,
a nice
certainly.
job of it.
So we're just waiting for the final few cars as Matthew lines up on the back row. Taylor Danny does start 12th, and now we have the back row lined up. We're here, and it's the final race on F1 22 for RTG. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 red lights. And we're away for Thursday tiers, Miami Grand Prix, and Chuckle does defend the inside as well as he can and stays in the lead. And Aston Martin tries to go at the inside of both Alfa Romeos, but now Ginge is in 4th. Another Aston Martin of Ville has moved up 3 places in a couple of corners as we make our way through turn 3. Quite a sketchy corner for...
Again.
Yeah, I can't work out to off. As we see a driver falling down there, I think that's Taylor Danny. There's a big squabble going on at the back of the field. As we make our way back to the front, and we see the drivers make their way down to turn 11. You see that Alpha Tauri moving up the inside there is make our way slightly further back, and no moves actually at turn 11, so the field has spread just slightly and not enough for anyone to make up a place. Taylor Downey has lost 7 places. Now Looney Man is spun at the back of the field. It looks like there was...
Yeah, and that's kind of hindered Dylan as well, because I think he ended up getting overtaken under safety under yellow flag there.
Oh, so that would have cost him quite a bit. Oh, his nice job, mate. Goes wide at the final corner, and he's actually hit the wall, sideswiped it, and taken off the left end plate of his front wing.
What a silly sausage.
As we're watching the 2 Red Bulls, and then just up ahead is Aki.
Starting with Craig. Oh, Rumble looks like they're going to tap. Looked like Royal Rumble was going to go for a move there. But Matthew does on the inside of his teammate at turn 7 there. Nicely done from Matthew.
Yeah, he means business. He's already moved up 6 places in the first lap and a half, and now he's going to try a 7th as we go towards turn 11. Not enough straight line speed on that Red Bull. He's got his teammate of Royal Rumble right behind him. Hopefully he's going to be able to follow him through. I think Kieran and Taylor Danny have both pit. Looney Man is still in. What's a nice job mate going to do? Is he going to stay out, or is he going to come into the pit lane after colliding with the wall? He elects to stay out.
Oh, it looks like AJ Baker and taps the rear of Stephen Jones. AJ Baker getting so much more traction than Stephen Jones there. Now he's managed to make a move up the inside of turn 1, but Stephen Jones is letting him go. But unfortunately he has to. Oh, a bit eager there to try and get the place back going into turn 4, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. And Jason Martin happy that battle that out again.
As Looney Man pits for a new front wing. A set of intermediate tyres. Not sure what we're talking with tyres on laps. They did have a fresh set to go on to. So did Looney Man. So potentially didn't use up all their fresh sets of tyres. So I wonder if we'll see rain through the duration of this race.
I mean, why not? Oh, and you see racing Mark going for a move on Stephen Jones into turn 1. He's got inside the line and just sail past. Oh, Matty Jones and Vil. Vil managing to move up into place on Matty at turn 3, but then coming back at him at turn 5 now. And Matty Jones has got outside the line for turn 7. Is he going to be able to get this move done? He squeezes Vil, but Vil just squeezes him back on the exit. Just not managing to get on the traction. And this is going to be vulnerable to Sloven just behind.
With Prof being overtaken by AJ Baker there. So the top 4 have spread out a little bit, but this midfield pack is staying very, very close together. We notice this week in, week out now, Lee, that for this season anyway, the midfield has been so close. Are you there, Lias?
Yep. Sorry. Yeah, the midfield does always like to stick quite close together. Oh, there's guys Sloven eyeing up the move on Matty Jones. He's all vulnerable right now. He's got Vil just ahead of him. The other Aston Martin. Looks like it. Gary Sloan just tying up a move on the inside, up turn 3. He's going to be later on the brakes for turn 4. Mike Jones hasn't got the best line there, but he's managing to make do. As you see, the weather is starting to brighten up a little bit. Whether it's going to dry up or not, unsure. But there's AJ Baker sneaking his nose on the inside of turn 7 there.
And now...
He's just not got the straight line speed.
Well, it looks like he hasn't got the battery, to be fair.
But he's got the brakes and the balls. And it appears that he does.
He does,
up
indeed.
In the 7th place. Nicely done there from the Alpine driver. Matty Jones is realising how vulnerable he is right now, so he's trying to get a move on, but that's just causing him even more punishment, unfortunately.
Yeah. As we see the Alpine of AJ Baker move from his right to left, and Bugatti trying to stay in the slipstream, but as I said, this mid-pack is so congested, and without the DRS they're only able to use the slipstream to try and get past.
I mean, from Matty Jones to Royal Rumble, there's not a second between them. So that just goes to show you how equal on pace all these drivers are.
Always, Aki tried to look up the inside there at turn 4. I had to back out of it, and when Lee said a second ago Matty Jones was vulnerable, it's certainly now really looking like the case, because he's lost the place to AJ Baker. But is he going to come back in him now? AJ having some good pace, but not got any battery to show for it. Bugatti has got a lot of it that he's not been using for some reason. Just been sticking behind and not really.
Mic check.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, the controller dies. It's not holding its charge very well. But anyway, anyhow.
Dave Vernon.
Or maybe it just didn't have as much charge as I thought it should have had. As we're seeing Bugatti now with some pace, maybe trying to get past Matty Jones, but elects to stay behind. And gets awesome drive out of turn 18 as you go through the final corner and down towards turn 1. To me, Lee, the track looks like it's getting better and the rain's slowing down.
I think it is, so I do reckon it is going to be a dry track pretty soon. I would say roughly even by what, 13 or 14 I would say.
Yeah, about half distance.
Yeah, and judging by how quick it is drying up. We're seeing Chuckle, he's just sailing away right now. It's 3.5 seconds up the road on Chuck.
Matty Jones seems to get a poor exit, and it means that Bugatti is using his battery, trying to go for a gap that wasn't there, but didn't have the momentum to get into that gap anyway, so he was alright, and just struggling with the straight line speed. But in that case, as we see always racing, Matt goes up the inside of Prof and almost goes into the back of Bugatti. Well, he's gone up into 9th place as we go through the chicane and under the freeway.
This controller died, I think.
No, it's not.
Is it not? Alright, it just went dead silent. I was like,
oh, sorry.
I wonder.
Sometimes you just don't take over, Lacey. Or it's just me, talking too much. As we
Oh,
go
Bugatti
on.
Sloven's going for a dive up the inside of Matty Jones there.
Oh,
Jones getting a little bit of a shake there, not being able to
and we
get
got another
traction
car on the
down.
outside as well.
That's racing Matt, so the two Matts and Bugatti. He's just waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake. You can see them both battling now. We're on turn 7 here. As that's happening, AJ Baker moves up a place.
Yeah, he's got the bit between his teeth at the minute. We'll see if Matty Jones can start to fight back, and Villa's actually trying to fight back with AJ on the inside. He keeps that 5th place.
My Jones getting right close to the back of Bugatti Sloven there. Around turn 12 there. Looked like he was going to go and try for a little move around the outside, but didn't have momentum. That was required. Val. Oh, sorry, I just snapped onto Val there. It looked like he was going to go for a move at the inside of AJ Baker at turn 17. But he just got on the brakes that bit earlier.
So, Chuckle supremely confident at the front right now, as we're seeing the two Matts fight it out for that 8th place, and it looks like Racing Matt has moved up, and now Prof, who's got a bit of a wiggle through turn 3, he's been able to move up as well, and now Matty Jones is down in 10th place and got Matthew.
It's a bit odd there how Matty Jones lost so much time.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. He must have made a big mistake. Sorry, Lee, give me a second. I'm going to just stick with the battle with Racing Matt. No, sorry, I'll go a bit further back. Stephen Jones and those guys. I'll literally be 1 minute. Sorry.
Cool. There we go. Looks like Stephen Jones is going for a move on Matty. And he makes it stick, no bother at all. But it looks like Matty's going to be coming back with the ERS and a little bit of the slipstream. And he's moving up the inside here, and then at the same time we've got Aki having a wee look. Oh, what's happening with Matty Jones? Oh, Matty Jones is done. That's a bit unfortunate there. I was looking forward to a good battle with him there. So, see, Aki is just having a look at turn 4 down the inside of Stephen Jones, but doesn't manage to get as much momentum. We've got Matthew just behind, just 2 tenths there, and Lee Craig just narrowly behind that. Royal Rumble looking on from a bit of a distance. Here we go, Stephen Jones being overtaken by the Mercedes of Aki, but straight line top end speed of Stephen Jones, managing to get back up, but then Aki let her on the brakes and giving Stephen Jones a little bit of the squeeze at the same time. As Aki makes up a place, Prof makes up a place on Racing Matt, and Stephen Jones relentless here trying to get past. Turns 14, 15 and 16, this is usual for overtaking.
I'm back. I think I kept it on the right people though when I popped my head in just for a split second.
Yep.
That 10th place seems like it's coveted at the minute, because there's a huge amount of fighting as Racing Matt dives into the pit lane. He's the first driver to do that so far. Front wing change. So I'm assuming that's something I missed. Did you catch that there?
For Racing Matt. Oh.
And a wing change.
Never noticed that.
Oh, what happened with Matty Jones?
He just retired in the pits.
Oh. So we're seeing Stephen Jones and Matthew now go side by side down the back straight. But you've got a couple of curves in the middle of it as they go side by side, almost banging wheels and go into the braking zone. Matthew's got that inside line and moves up into 10th place. Stephen Jones has been at the heart of the action the last couple of laps as we now see them go underneath the freeway and turn left-handed to go down the other back straight, which is actually a full straight into the heavy braking zone at the end. The rain stopped, Lee.
Oh. No, the thing is, Racing Matt is just Pat.
When are people going to go for the dry tyres? It's very cloudy, so we might see this rain stay a little bit longer than usual because it's very cloudy still. Oh, is Stephen Jones going?
Yeah, Lee Craig getting right up the rear of Stephen Jones there. I think he's going for the moving down side of
Oh!
and he's around.
It's hit Royal Rumble as well. Royal Rumble's sort of scraped the side of them. I'm not sure if he's got damage. As the Pretender moves up on Lee Craig's. Lee Craig got damage? No. I did see a bit of carbon go flying though. I'm pretty sure of it.
I'll try and have a real look.
The track getting drier. There is still a bit of a shine on the tyre at the moment. On the surface, sorry. As Chapel goes faster, we'll probably see times quicker than qualifying soon, even with the fuel load they still got left. But in wet conditions on this game, I find when it sort of changes conditions, the track just gets so much more slippy. It's like driving on grease.
I'm sorry, I can't speak right now. I've just been sneezing.
Oh, sorry.
Give me a minute.
Stephen Jones with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. First one today. As Racing Matt now goes even faster. I think we're about to get over to the crossover point as Aki and Matthew jostling for position. Matthew now going to start to fight back. You should see DRS be enabled shortly. Do you reckon the track's dry enough for softs, Lee? Getting there? Or do you think it's still way too? I'm not sure. There's not really any spray. That's the thing that's getting to me. Even when they pull off offline, there's no spray.
I think it's still another lap or two out to say.
Well, you were very close to your prediction there.
I was actually. You realise? I will say one thing, I absolutely hate sneezing.
Do you suffer with hay
Oh,
fever?
no, that's the funny thing. But you kept my mic when I sneeze. But it was in the way Craig wanted to move up on the tender there. For 13's bliss. But no,
So,
you kept my mic when I sneeze. It just doesn't stop.
yeah.
Oh, Matthew and Ake. Oh.
Switching places again. Stephen Jones is now spun. Ghosting's on though, so he should be safe from any collision. He was. Has he got damage? No. I was going to say, if he had damage, he'd be in a right conundrum here. I think if it was just end play, I'd have to stay out for a little bit because it's not worth it. Pitting again. I think we're getting very close to dry tyres now. But it has stayed longer than usual, actually, with the clouds.
Yeah, I've got to say, and you're struggling wanting to fire in even quicker lap times now. That'll be him getting a move on to get as far ahead as he can for when the dry tyres do come into play. Matthew and Ake side by side going into turn 17. Ake's on the inside, Matthew on the outside. And they're still side by side. Now it switches back to Matthews on the inside now for turn 19. He's going off the inside for turn 1, but Ake just with a little bit superior straight line speed. They're still side by side, for God's sake. Good one, he's just pick what goes in front.
Yeah, well, it looks like they have done for now. 38.9 for Racing Matt was the driver to pit before. The longer we go on with these conditions, Lee, the better it is for Racing Matt.
Yeah, I will say that. Because you will have the better tyres for now. It'll be less of a bother from what happened.
So just looking on teammates, Lee, the two Alfa Romeos when it comes to pitting are going to have a slight issue.
Red Bulls a lot.
Two Red Bulls maybe as well. The two Alpha Tauris, two Alpines.
Alpha Tauris, definitely. No, Alpines.
Yeah, well, it looks like the Alpines are actually, the Alpha Tauris are actually switching places as Racing Matt gets through. Makes kind of sense, so he has pit already.
Yeah, but Tender's got 100% battery.
Maybe he should use a little bit now, but it's good for him when the track goes dry. He's going to be the driver that's got a big grin on his face.
Oh yeah, definitely, and if he just holds it off for just using a little bit each lap, then...
Yellow flag in sector 3, that's Dylan.
Oh, he's around at turn 17.
Yeah, safety car deployed. Safety car deployed!
Oh, no, Dylan is right at the pit entry, so...
He is, yeah.
Right, let's see, what is he going to do?
Is he going to get lapped though?
Oh, maybe. Nah, because Chuckle will need to come in anyway, because the tyres will be due to come off also.
Oh, he's coming in, but the track's going to dry up, surely.
He's on softs.
Yeah, if there's any tyre at this point, softs are the way to go. Double soft from now on. Mediums for the race leader.
Ooh. See what Chuck is going to be going on.
I think nice job, mate. Did a Lee special there, coming into the pits.
Did you get Ginge? He did.
I think he did. Or maybe not, actually. Maybe not. So, wait there, let's get tyres up. Tyres. So, Dylan...
Oh no, he did. Nice one.
Bugatti stayed out. This may have turned into one of our most interesting races, Lee.
Ooh.
Some people have elected to stay out on the intermediates. I don't think we've ever commentated on a race like this, where it's still wet. Safety cars come out. It doesn't look like it's going to dry up. It really doesn't look like it's going to dry up. It's so cloudy. Oh, chuckle! But should it be... Yeah, Bugatti's got to give the place back. I thought he would. He's kept it out of the wall, though. But these drivers are going to be going so slowly in these conditions. I think, obviously, Dylan's at the back. So he literally doesn't have anything to lose right now. Apart from a point that he'd be gaining in 19th. So what's Dylan doing here? Dylan looks like he's coming into the pits, going rather slowly. So, Lee, what's going to happen?
I have no
They've
idea.
all gone on the mediums. No one's even thought about going on the softs, apart from Dylan, but he's now pit, so he's decided that was the wrong call. Has he realised that everyone else... But he's just coming out of the pits. So he's on the softs again. He's now a lap down.
Matthew's in the pits.
Matthew in the pits, so drivers now changing their minds. And another fresh set of mediums go on to Matthew.
Huh? I'm confused here.
Maybe he thinks he's not going to lose many places. Actually, if you look, if you see, you've got another driver, Aki, coming in now. What's he going on? Intermediate. So he's going back on the inters.
So Taylor Danny's in also. He was
So
on the
drivers
medium.
changing their minds now. Bugatti's... So we got another fresh set of mediums. You've got a front wing change. That makes a bit more sense. So obviously, but he's probably spun on the safety car. We're going to have another lap to go under this safety car because we've got a big queue that's still waiting to catch up. And the thing that's worrying, Lee, is obviously the pace is being set by a supercar, and the Formula 1 cars are struggling to catch up. And they haven't. I don't think they'll have a Delta to go by, but the track, it's still not dry, is it, Lee? You haven't had DRS enabled. Oh no, we wouldn't hear that anyway, actually, because we're under a safety car, but... This is super interesting, this. So, Bugatti didn't pit, as you said. Drivers on the intermediate should have pit. The only one that, if it stays like this, Lee, Racing Matt might have made an amazing goal. As he pits now, actually. Drive through penalty, speeding under the safety car. Aki.
What? That is boo.
Medium tyres go on for Racing Matt. He waited a little while longer, though, for that to happen. He is going to drop places. I think he's going to pop out in 14th place. Oh, sorry, 13th place. Retender's gone on to a new set of inters. But the track isn't drying up, Lee, really.
How poor is the drainage here at my alley?
But no, I'm thinking about how much more realistic this is. I think if it started to dry up now, it starts to make sense. The sun is starting to come out a little bit, actually.
What's happening with Dylan? Still there?
I'm sorry, Lee, I had myself on mute. So, safety car in there. Track's dry, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. And Shuffle gets us back underway. So we're going to have 10 laps of dry running, I think, for the rest of the race. So Pretender dives in. I think Aki's going to have to make that call as well. But it did take a lot longer, and it does still look a bit damp actually on the outside. It literally looks like there's just a dry line that's formed so far.
Yeah, it does look like it. Oh, it's seen nice job, mate. AJ Baker battling it out around turn 7 there. Nice job, mate. Managed to hold it out around the outside, but he hasn't lost a place to change since the lap start.
AJ Baker, I think, is going to try and fight back. They'll both be using the overtake. There's a big lunge on the outside. He's going to have the right to have the inside line now, and does as we go into turn 12 through the left-hander of turn 13 and chicane of 14 and 15. Nice job, mate. Holds on for the time being, even though AJ Baker almost pushes him through turn 15. So the Pretender gone on to the soft tyre now. Bugatti he's got to pit, hasn't he now?
He's got to. I think
He's staying out.
Oh. Now, you see, if he manages to do this whole race without pitting, I'm going to colour me impressed and still get a podium. Because technically, he could still do that.
He could, but it's not going to happen. If it started to rain again, he'd be an absolute genius. But I don't think that's going to happen. The clouds look like they're lightening up now, and Croft getting past Ville.
Oh, Lee Craig going to remove the inside of Lee Royal Rumble.
Big trainer cars making moves on one another as Bugatti now down to 5th place. He's got to go on the softs though. I'm not sure where he's going to come out. He won't come out in last.
Oh, AJ Baker going for the dive around the outside of nice job, mate, and into there, but unfortunately doesn't manage to get it. Royal Rumble fighting back against Lee Craig.
Oh, sorry, Lee. We're just seeing Racing Matt go up the inside, and then they make contact. Oh, is now Lee Craig has contact with Stephen Jones, and he loses places. And Racing Matt now gains on him. Racing Matt is going to look to the outside as we go down to turn 7. But look at Matthew pulling away.
Oh, there's contact as well between Ginge and nice job, mate. Nice job, mate. He's just doing donuts down at turn 17.
And Bugatti stays out again.
DRS has now been enabled.
first time that me and Lee have seen this all week. We did have it on Monday, but we haven't had it. We didn't have it yesterday. It's the first time on Thursday as we see Royal Rumble and Vil jostling at turn 3 as they make their way into turn 4. Royal Rumble around the outside there at turn 4. Wow, that was a really, really good move there from Royal Rumble. Surely, yeah.
AJ Baker managing to move up into third place also.
Aki's retired. He's retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's understandable. To be honest, he's got a drive-through penalty also.
Royal Rumble and Vil going side by side in the middle sector, and Vil gets past. So I'm still just intrigued with the Aston Martin of Bugatti. He's surely got to let his teammate past. Surely he's got to pit this lap onto the softs. Oh, it's Stephen Jones.
Goes right into the side of Vil.
Yeah, that's Bugatti, stays out again.
Oh, and there's seen the battle ensuing here from Royal Rumble and Racing Matt again.
It's Vil and Stephen banging wheels again, very aggressive between the two of them. Hope they cool down in a few moments, otherwise there could be carnage, especially with this big queue of cars. It's Bugatti now, just letting everyone by. I think Bugatti needs to learn the terminology of what a race is, as we see Taylor Dang lose the place to Lee Craig. He's just got this big queue of cars and 3 drivers fighting for the one position. We've got Vil and Vil and Racing Matt also fighting for position as well as we go through the tight part of the middle sector. Still got drivers side by side. Got Kieran and Lee Craig side by side. Lee Craig has to drop back as they go single file through this twist and tight section of the track as we now open up onto a long back straight where drivers are weaving from right to left to lose the toe. Towards the front, however, Ginger's gained a place on AJ Baker. Racing Matt trying to go up the inside. Big lunge from the Alpha Tauri. These two have been fighting for the last lap or two quite aggressively as Dylan is out and Racing Matt stays in 6th place.
So we've seen Chuck mighty close to his brother in Ferrari. Truffle is not close enough to make a move just yet, fortunately, but we'll see it happening quite soon. Matthew and Stephen Jones swapping places there. I don't know. Vil and Matthew swapping places now.
Yes, it is. Vil's on the inside and tucks back onto the racing line. This has really turned into a bare-knuckle brawl, Lee, in terms of racing the last couple of laps. They've all seemed to have got a bit ahead of themselves in terms of the fact that the track's gone dry. And of course, a lot of these drivers racing last night, they must have felt like a long time since they've driven on a dry circuit.
Oh yeah, and one of these drivers are now into also.
Big lunge from Vil. Danny Ricciardo-esque kind of lunged there, but it didn't pay off. He got alongside before they turned in.
Oh, and Kieran's round at turn 3.
Didn't have too many mistakes in the race. In the wet, it turned 3. We'll have one there. In the dry, we get back underway. Matthew up into 8th now and challenging for 7th place. He's going to have the DRS over that Williams. The 2 Red Bulls working together rather well. Aston Martin between them, however, and that Aston Martin looking to the outside, goes for the late braking. Knows he'll have the inside for the next corner. Matthew, however, just carries the momentum, means the other Red Bull is trying to go up the inside, Royal Rumble, but he has to fall back as they usually do through this section. As I say, mainly single file section through this part of the circuit. And Chuckle was looking very comfortable in the wet conditions, but now he's got his brother in the Alfa Romeo right on his gearbox.
Oh, it's getting wrong again on the exit of turn 16.
And nice job, mate.
Nice job, mate. Yeah, nice job, mate. It's had enough now, which is, I can understand the frustration after he was doing so well in the race. Really soon the guy is slow and put him in the fastest lap, which is understandable.
Oh, he's
soft.
Matthew goes around the outside. It turns 7. I didn't think that was going to pay off. I watched in awe as that happened, but that can be overtake of the race, and certainly we've got a few laps to go, Lee, so it's getting to that point where we're going to talk about it. But Stephen Jones flies around the outside as we were on board with Matthew before they hit the brakes, so it doesn't like that he put a move on him around the outside. As we've got a yellow flag once again. That's the Haas of Kieran.
We've seen this battle for 7th. All the cars are up to 12th.
Sorry, Lee. The battle for the lead, though, almost changed hands. Sorry, but it didn't in the end. It looked like it was about to.
All good there. But Matthew gets himself a 3-second time penalty. Not what he wanted. So now he's going to be trying. Oh no, that was a bit bad there from Stephen Jones there, but it looks not on board from Matthew.
In what sense? I didn't see it. I was off board.
It looked like he just gave him no space on the inside going into turn 3. And that's where he made contact, pushing him off track.
Is he letting him go around the outside? Is he doing a Joe special? However, the front 4 are switching places, and Chuck now up into the lead as we are about to go on to the penultimate lap as Lee's left the session. And he's got himself another network error. It looks like we've got some drivers who've made some errors themselves. Royal Rumble 5-second penalty for causing a collision with Stephen Jones. Looks like it's all going wrong in the final few laps as we go on to the penultimate lap. We've had 4 drivers DNF from this, 5 drivers DNF from this race. We're watching the leaders now on the penultimate lap. And we'll see who can clinch it this evening. As Chuckle is unbeaten this season so far. He's looking for a 4th in 4. But Chuck is going to try and change that as he now tries to make his way around the outside. It's looking like the optimal line for drivers today. It then turns into the inside for the next corner. And he is back up into the lead. just slightly further back. Matthew is now overtaking Lee Craig, but he has got himself a time penalty, 3 seconds. The two drivers in the midfield, 6th and 7th, both got 3-second time penalties. So, as we go on to the final lap, Chuckle knows this is his last chance. They've both have their flashing lights very active at the moment, which means their batteries are pretty much depleted. So it's an all or nothing lap for these two drivers. Is it going to be 4 wins out of 4 for the Ferrari, or is Chuck going to claim his first win of the season here stateside as he makes his way, as they make their way through turn 7, now 8, 9 and 10, where it's all flat out before we have this short flat out bit towards turn 11, and Chuck is going to try and go around the outside again. Is he going to go for it now, or is he going to wait till a little later on? They're going side by side as Chuckle gives up the position. But was that a good tactical decision by the Ferrari as they go through the left-hander of turn 16, and now the long stretch towards turn 17, the last point on the circuit where either of them can go for the overtake. Chuckle goes past, Stephen Jones retires. Chuck is trying to get a decent exit. This could be one of the closest finishes we've had in RTG. They come to the line and Chuckle wins the Miami Grand Prix. And Chuck comes home in second by just over a tenth. It's 4 out of 4 for Chuckle. AJ Baker crossing the line in third. Ginge in fourth. Prof in fifth. Sixth is Racing Matt. Seventh was Matthew as he drops down to 10th. Taylor Danny in 8th. 9th was Vil. 11th was Royal Rumble as we wait for Bugatti, Looney Man and the Pretender. We should have Lee back in for the final bit. Lee, would you just join the party for the last bit, please? As there he goes. Right, are you in?
Yep. I'm not in the game, Mike, but just in the party.
Okay, Chuckle has claimed his 4th victory in a row this season. Chuck was so close behind, only a 10th between him and first place. AJ Baker finished in third, and for me, Lee, I think that's got to be driver of the day for me. Started 13th on the grid, made up 10 places, and finished on the podium. Ginge finishes 4th. 5th is Prof. 6th is Racing Matt. 7th is Lee Cray. Taylor Danny is 8th. 9th is Vil. 10th was Matty. Royal Rumble was 11th. 12th is Looney Man. 13th was Bugatti Slovan. The Pretender was 14th. 15th was Stephen Jones. Kieran 16th. 17th was Nice Job Mate. Dylan 16th, 15th was Stephen Jones. Then the DNFs were Kieran, Nice Job Mate, Dylan, Aki and Matty Jones. So thanks very much for watching. You will have some uploads in the next couple of weeks, but in terms of live streams, we're going to be rather quiet or non-existent for the next couple of weeks until we're on F1 23. It was the final race, Lee, for F1 22, and it was a pretty good one, to be fair. with the mixed conditions. But as we said yesterday, I'm quite glad to see the back of this game. So looking forward to F1 23 now.
Yep, honestly, I can't wait myself. Still need to get my rig set up and everything again to be able to get in and play it.
Join Mondays, Lee, when there's a space.
Obviously.
Yeah, just see. Wait till the space comes available. Anyway, thanks very much for watching every race on F1 22 this season. It's been much appreciated. It is the game that we've seen 300 subscribers on, so it'll be memorous. That's not even a word, is it? Memorable for that reason. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. As I said, we won't be with you for a while. I haven't had a look for what the tracks are next, but obviously it's a few weeks away, so not really anything to worry about for the time being. So thanks very much for the 300 subscribers in F1 22. We'll see you on F1 23 for the next round of RTG. It's goodbye from me and from Lee.
Peace out.
Bye F1